Yo soy ChicanX, perdido en un mundo de confusión. I am ChicanX, lost in a world of confusion, caught up in the whirl of European society, confused by the rules, scorned by attitudes, suppressed by manipulation, and destroyed by modern society. My fathers have lost the economic battle and won the struggle of cultural survival, and now I must choose between the paradox of victory of the spirit despite physical hunger or to exist in the grasp of American social neurosis. Sterilization of the soul and a full stomach. Yes, I have come a long way to nowhere, unwillingly dragged by that monstrous technical industrial giant called progress and Anglo success. I look at myself, I watch my sisters and brothers, I shed tears of sorrow, I sow seeds of hate. I withdraw into the safety of the circle of life, my own people. I am Cuauhtémoc, proud and noble, leader of the people, king of an empire civilized beyond the dreams of Agachupin Cortés, who also is the blood and image of myself. I am the Mayan prince. I am Nezahualcóyotl, great leader of the Chichimecas. I am the sword and flame of Corpus the Despo and the eagle and serpent of the Aztec civilization. I own the land as far as the eye can see under the crown of Spain, and I toiled on my earth and gave my Indians sweat and blood to a Spanish master who ruled with tyranny over man and beast. But the ground was mine. I was tyrant and slave as the Christian church took its place in God's name to take and use my virgin strength and trusting faith. The priests, both good and bad, took but gave a lasting truth that Spaniard, Indian, mestizo, we are all God's children. And from these words grew people who prayed and fought for their own worth as human beings, for that golden moment of freedom. I was in part blood and spirit of that courageous village priest Hidalgo, who in the year 1810 rang the bell of independence and gave out that lasting cry, el grito de Dolores, que mueran los gachupines y que viva la Virgen de Guadalupe. I sentenced him, who was me. I excommunicated him, my blood. I drove him from the pulpit to lead a bloody revolution for him and me. I killed him. His head, which is mine, and all of those that have come this way, I placed on that fortress wall of independence. Morelos, Matamoros, Guerreros, all compañeros in the act, stood against that wall of infamy to feel the hot gouge of lead which my hands made. I died with them. I lived with them. I lived to see our country free, free from Spanish rule in 1821. Mexico was free? Yeah. The crown was gone, but all its parasites remained and ruled and taught with gun and flame and mystic Jesus power. I worked, I sweated, I bled, I prayed, and waited silently for life to begin again. I fought and died with Don Benito Juarez, guardian of the Constitution. I was he on dusty roads and barren lands as he protected his archives as Moses did his sacraments. He held his Mexico in his hand on the most desolate and remote ground, which was his country. And this giant little Zapotec gave not one palm's breadth of his country's land to kings or monarchs or presidents of foreign power. I am ChicanX. I rode with Pancho Villa, crude and warm, tornado at full strength, nourished and inspired by the passion and fire of all his earthly people. I am Emiliano Zapata. This land, this earth is ours. The villages, the mountains, the streams belong to Zapatistas. Our life or yours is the only trade for soft brown earth and maize, all of which is our reward. A creed that formed a constitution for all who dare live free. This land is ours. Father, I give it back to you. Mexico must be free. I ride with the revolutionist against myself. I am the rurales, coarse and brutal. I am the mountain Indian, superior over all. The thundering hoofbeats are my horses. The chattering machine guns are death to all of me. Yaqui, Tarahumara, Chamala, Zapotec, Mestizo, Español. I have been the bloody revolution, the victor, the vanquished. I have killed and been killed. I am Despos Diaz en Huerta and the apostle of democracy, Francisco Madero. I am the black-shod, faithful woman who dies with me or lives depending on the time and place. I am faithful, humble Juan Diego, the Virgin of Guadalupe, Tonatzin, Aztec goddess too. I rode the mountains of San Joaquin. I rode east and north as far as the Rocky Mountains, and all the men feared the guns of Joaquin Murrieta. I killed those men who dared to steal my mind, who raped and killed my love, my wife, and then I killed to stay alive. I was El Fego Vaca, living my 9 lives fully. I was the Espinosa brothers of the San Luis Valley. All were added to the number of heads that in the name of civilization were placed on that fortress wall of independence. Heads of brave people who died for cause or principle, good or bad. Hidalgo, Zapata, Murrieta are but a few. They dared to face the force of tyranny of men who rule by deception and hypocrisy. I stand here looking back, and now I see the present, and still I am a campesino. I am the fat political coyote. I, of the same name, ChicanX, in a country that has wiped out all of my history, stifled all of my pride, in a country that has placed a different weight of indignity upon my age-old burdened back. Inferiority is the new load. The Indian has endured and still emerged the winner. The mestizo must yet overcome, and the gachopin will just ignore. I look at myself and see part of me who rejects my father and mother to disappear into the melting pot and dissolve in shame. I sometimes sell my brother out and reclaim him for my own when society gives me token leadership in society's own name. I am ChicanX, who bleeds in many ways. The altars of Moctezuma, I stained a bloody red. My back of Indian slavery was stripped crimson by whips of masters who would lose their blood so pure when revolution made them pay. Standing against that wall of retribution, blood has flown for me on every battlefield between campesino, ascendido, slave, and master, and bloody revolution. I jump from the Tower of Chapultepec into the Sea of Fame, my country's flag, my burial shroud, with Los Niños, whose pride and courage within dignity could not surrender their country's flag to strangers in their land. Now, I bleed in some smelly cell from club or gun or tyranny. I bleed as the vicious gloves of hunger cut my face and eyes as I fight my way from the stinking barrios to the glamour of the ring and lights of fame, or mutilated sorrow. My blood runs pure on the ice-caked hills of the Alaskan Isles, on the corpse-strewn beach of Normandy, on the foreign land of Vietnam, and now Iraq. Here I stand before the court of justice, guilty for all the glory of my raza, to be sentenced to despair. Here I stand, poor with money, arrogant with pride, bold with machismo, rich with courage, and wealthy in spirit and faith. My knees caked with mud, my hands calloused from the hoe. I had made the Anglo rich, yet equality is but a word. The Treaty of Hidalgo has been broken and is but another treacherous promise. My land is lost and stolen. My culture has been raped. I lengthen the lines at the welfare door and fill the jails with crimes. This then are the rewards this society has for offspring of kings and chiefs and bloody revolutionists who gave a foreign people all their skill and ingenuity to pave the way with brains and blood for those hordes of gold-starved strangers who changed our culture and plagiarized our deeds of feats of valor of their own. They frowned upon our way of life and took what they could use. Our art, our literature, our spirituality, they ignored. They left all the real things of value and grabbed at their own destruction by their greed and avarice. They overlooked that cleansing fountain of nature, which is ChicanX. I am, in the eyes of woman, sheltered beneath her shawl of black, deep, sorrowful eyes that bear the pain of sons long buried or dying, dead on the battlefield or on the barbed wire of social strife. Her rosary, she prays and fingers endlessly like the family working up and down a row of beats to turn around and work and work. There is no end. Her eyes, a mirror for all the warmth and all the love for me. I am her and she is me. We face life together in sorrow, anger, joy, faith, and wishful thought. I shed the tears of anguish as I see my children disappear behind the shroud of mediocrity, never to look back to remember me. I am ChicanX. I must fight and win this struggle for the people, and they must know from me who I am. Part of the blood that runs deep in me could not be vanquished by the Moors. I defeated them after 500 years. I have endured. Part of the blood that's mine has labored endlessly under the heel of the lustful European. I am still here. I have endured the rugged mountains of our country. I have survived the toils and slavery of the fields. I have existed in the barrios of our city, in the suburbs of bigotry, in the mines of social snobbery, in the prisons of dejection, in the muck of exploitation, and in the fierce heat of racial hatred. And now the trumpet sounds. The music of the people starts, the self-healing, peaceful movement of the Americas. Like a sleeping giant, it slowly rears its head to the sound of trampling feet, awareness of the now, circular beliefs, and a conscious acknowledgement of our unity. And in the fertile farmlands, the barren plains, the smoked, smeared cities, we start to move. Indigenous, Native, Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, Chicano, ChicanX, or whatever the fuck I call myself. We look the same, we feel the same, we cry and sing the same. I am the masses of our people, and we refuse to be absorbed. We are ChicanX. The odds are great, but our spirit is strong. Our faith, unbreakable. Our blood is pure. I am Aztec Prince and Christian Christ. We shall endure, we will endure. We are the people. That was a very emotional experience, and for this second part, my mind is just scattered, so I'm just gonna get this out safe. And thank you for that. That was a journey. And for this second part, here in front of y'all, I just want to say that decolonizing is for everyone. As a veteran, I can forgive those that murder or steal because perhaps they do it out of necessity. However, a traitor never. Here I stand before the court of justice, guilty for all the glory of my raza. Here I stand full of remorse for my past livelihood and convictions. Here I stand and ask for forgiveness. I ask for help with transitioning into the now through the primal act of cutting and communal decolonizing. Let us embark on the self-healing, peaceful movement of the Americas. Yeah, come on.